welcome back to another installment of Hank's True Barbecue. It is time to fire up my offset smoker Rude Boy. I'm gonna do some really glorious pork ribs in these. Gotta chop up some oak wood first, but then I'm gonna show you. I bought some ribs from a good friend of mine who happens to be raising animals for a living, so he produces incredible pork. So it's time to smoke up some good old pork ribs, and I'll show you how it's done in the offset smoker. Alright, we have a nice pile of wood. Here's the thinner splits and kindling I'm gonna use to start the fire with in the firebox. I'm gonna show you how I build my fire. Alright, now back to the important thing, the ribs. Check out these look really good. You wanna see the fat striations here and the amount of fat and the thickness of meat. It's just beautiful. These are gonna be really, really good. I'm gonna prep them, put on some rub. I'm gonna use my own KC Royale. I think this is really good with lemon pepper, a bit of sweetness of course. If you have other preferences, just go with whatever favorite pork rub you have. So as for trimming, I did pull off the membrane, and yesterday I applied some salt, as I always do, the dry brining, so 1 teaspoon of table salt per kilo of meat. So they've been in the fridge overnight, so now I'm just gonna apply the rub, let it sit for a few hours before we fire up the smoker. I'll start with the rub on the back side and then we'll move over to the presentation side. I'm gonna get a relatively even layer. I want a good amount of rub, but it shouldn't cake either, so try to get it as even as possible. Ah, that looks good. Flip it over. And look at that, it's gonna be so tasty. And the reason I did dry brine overnight is because these ribs have a bit more meat on them, and I think it's really important to get the salt in there so we get maximum flavor. You really want to amplify the natural pork flavor here. Just a tad bit more. Kind of hard to do this when it's windy outside, but that's looking good. Get these in the fridge. I'm gonna leave them as they are, no need to cover them up or anything. Now just a quick tour. I'm gonna put the ribs back here. Plenty of space. I took out that extra shelf I have. Moving over to the second half, the rear half. This is my water pan. I think it's really good, especially with such dry air that you get from burning pure oak wood. So this is actually an oven pan from IKEA, but it has the right size for this size smoker, so I'm gonna fill that with hot water. It's a hot day today, so it's probably gonna take less than 20 minutes to get this one up to temp. I'm gonna run it at 120 degrees Celsius, which is, well, 250 Fahrenheit, I guess. I'm gonna have to double check that, but should be good. So I thought I'd show you how I build my fire. I use oak wood only from the start. Like you can see, I cut out some splits and even kindling, so I just build a frame like this. Something like that. We're gonna get the match lit. Place one of these thick felt matches in the middle. Place a few sticks right above it. Get that fire going. And basically just wait a while. I think this is the simplest way for me to start a fire. Yes, there are different ways. You could use a flamethrower, all kinds of lighting material like charcoal starters, but I go with wood because it's simple and it always works. So I'm just gonna leave it like this for 10 minutes and then come back and put thicker splits on, and then we have a fire going in no time. Nice and easy, old school. I like it. Okay, so we're like 2.5–3 minutes in and it's already catching fire really nicely, so coming along just as planned. I'm gonna put another one in there. We'll just keep piling up until we've built a really good solid foundation. So while the fire is starting, I'm going to fill the water pan. I always use a water pan when running the offset smoker. I think it really helps. You can see the fire down there catching on nicely. Okay, so we're 5 minutes in, it's collapsed a bit, so now I'm going to put on slightly thicker splits to start building a good glowing embers here. But it's still pretty hot. It's going to get up to speed very quickly because it's hot outside too. And the firebox and the food chamber is fully insulated, so that really helps. So I started this one exactly 16 minutes ago, and now we got target temp 120 Celsius, which is 250 Fahrenheit. That's pretty darn good, but then again insulation really helps, so it's time to put the ribs on. Back here, closest to the smokestack. That should be good, right in the sweet spot. So here's the pitmaster seat again. Fire is coming along nicely. See, you got really good glowing embers here. I'm keeping temps within 5 degrees, actually within 3 degrees, which is nice. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I kind of like to keep it consistent, which always helps, especially during long cooks. I think it's time to get another log in there. I'm gonna put in a slightly thicker one. Trying to keep temps even, so I think this is a good part of the job, is just tending to the fire, which is nice, peaceful, good place to be, I would say. Now when it comes to fire management, I think this is a good thing to see. You can see the flames are being drawn into the food chamber, which is good. That means there's a good draft in the smoker, meaning the smokestack is doing its job, basically sucking air through the firebox, through the food chamber, and all the way out. Now speaking of draft, you can see here by looking at the smokestack and the smoke that's coming out that it's actually fully invisible. That means you have a good draft pulling air through, getting a clean burn, which means good flavor. Okay, so 2 hours in, let's have a quick check to see the ribs. Oh, they're looking good, coming along nicely, but still need more bark, definitely, so a few more hours to go. Alright, so we're 2.5 hours in. I've decided to wrap these just to speed up cooking time just a bit. So far it's looking good. Add just a splash of tiger sauce on these. So I'm not going to add a lot of sauce in these. I think that should be good. Mainly going to wrap them for speed, cooking time, that is. Got a little pullback already, but they're not tender yet. Nice little package. Just beware of poking holes, and this goes back into the smoker. Okay, they've been bracing for quite a while now, so I'm going to take them out. Quick check. Oh, feels good. Gonna unwrap them. Now I'm gonna sauce them. Oh, looking good. Now what I do is I roll the foil up like this to create thin walls, if you like. Make sure no sauce runs out in the smoker. Just an easy way of working with the foil. If you have any other recommendations, just do let me know. Put a comment down below. But I'm gonna flip them over. Get some sauce on there. I'm gonna move them over to the closer to the firebox for higher heat to caramelize just a bit. They look really tender, so now I just need like 10 minutes to dry up the surface a bit, but this should be good. Really sweet. Quite a bit of pullback. Look at this. All right, into the next one. If we can get these in without poking a hole. Nice. Sweet. Close the hatch, and I'm gonna bump up the temps just a bit. All right, so these ribs are looking good. Nice. Time for a taste test finally. Let me just grab the tongs here. Oh, they look really nice and tender. I'm gonna cut through one of these. See how that looks like. Really nice, super juicy, really exceptionally juicy. Check that out. That's just gorgeous. Good pork flavor. Really tasty. I like this, like tug off the bone, not fall off the bone. Just right. Good doneness. Seriously good stuff. Well, time to dig in. All right, those ribs turned out really good. Now, the thing we did was we cooked them as they were, like unwrapped for 2.5 hours to get good smoke flavor, get good bark. And since it turned out I was a little pressed for time, I decided to wrap them, because when you braise them, it's gonna go faster. The cook's gonna go just a bit faster. And they were quite thick, meaty ribs, which is always nice, but then braising helps. Unwrap them, sauce them, put on some good barbecue sauce, move them over to the hotter side to caramelize just a bit. And that's it really. Quite simple concept, easy to cook in the offset smoker. Of course you have to tend it quite a lot more than you have to do a Weber kettle, but I really like the authentic feel to it. And of course the great smoke that you get from the oak wood. So really nice cook, excellent flavor, and thank you for watching.